Well, hi everybody, Scott Kelby here, and we're going to look at using ON1 Photo RAW for dealing with high ISO images. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to deal with a very, very high ISO image. In fact, let's just take a quick look and see what that would be. Take a look on screen, the image that you see right here. Let me go over here to info and just see how high an ISO was I using the day I shot this. Let's go see. Oh, 25,600. It's a lot. It's a lot of ISO. You know what's worse? I'm shooting through glass. So I'm in an observatory in New York City, and I'm shooting through the glass, and it's a cool scene. It's crooked, so we'll fix that first. But really, it's about dealing with high ISO noise, and I want to talk about how we're going to deal with this in my workflow. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of finish off the image while we're at it, all right? So let's start with this. It's crooked. All right, so let's start off by going over to the crop tool. Now, once you choose the crop tool, in this bar up here at the top that you see, there's a setting called level, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to click on the tool itself. And once you do that, then you can go in here and just drag along the line of something that's supposed to be straight. Like I figure that this building probably should be leaning to the left, and then I let go and it straightens it out, and that's pretty good. Everything looks pretty good. You know what's weird? The building on the left is leaning a little. The building in the middle is straight. I think there's a construction problem. We're not going to fix that today, but at least the image is now straight, because I can't even think if it's not straight. That kind of just drives me nuts, all right? When you're done, just click the little blue check mark up in the top. Now, we're going to get rid of the noise, but one of the most frequent questions I get asked is, when do you do this? When is it in the process? This is like the first thing you do. I'm not talking about cropping the image, but past cropping the image, this is job number one. We get rid of the noise now, right up front. So first off, let's just analyze the noise and see how bad is it. Let's zoom in here and see. It looks like it's snowing in New York, but it wasn't. Look up, oh, look at that in the sky. Hey. And you know what? It's what's terrible is I went through most of my career not only not using noise reduction, but telling people not to use it. And the reason why was up until AI tools like we're going to use today, all noise reduction did was slightly blur the image so you couldn't see the noise. And number one, it never really got rid of it. It just blurred it. You spend all this money on a really nice camera body and these really nice lenses, and we fret over the sharpness, and then we go and we add a blurring to our image. It was a crazy thing, and that's why I told nobody to do it. Well, this technology changes everything. Take a look. So right here, I'm going to go down to noise and sharpening right here. And then when I go here, we're going to use no noise. Give it a few seconds. Did you see that? Are you seeing this? All you have to do is go there, click on the tab for it. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. It's not that it just removes the noise, but that it actually leaves a ridiculous amount of detail. Like the detail that's there is still there, and you have control over the sharpening or the amount of detail as well. But let me move over to this building and show you what I mean. So look at how it keeps the detail. It's just unbelievable. I mean, this stuff, I don't know, I find this wildly fascinating. And I could do this all day, just playing back and forth. But that's the thing. I need to get rid of this noise. That does it in a way that makes great sense, and I do it up front. Now, there are a couple of settings we can talk about. That you can enhance the detail. Quite honestly, I leave the color always at 100. In fact, even ON1 tells you, leave the color reduction at 100%. I leave the luminance at 100 as well, and I only enhance the detail if I think, wow, this looks blurry. But I haven't really had to do it. I haven't seen an image where I thought, this detail looks worse. It always looks better. It always looks so much, just so much night and day better. There is micro sharpening. So what is micro sharpening? Micro sharpening is when you want to sharpen small details. You have big details like a building, you have small details like a doorway. There are things that you want to do that are like, or like a window or something like that. That's what micro sharpening is. And most of the time, I don't mess with that either. Most of the time I'm pretty happy because I'm at the very beginning of my, my whole workflow. Now, we're gonna come back to here and we're gonna use another feature called Tack Sharp AI. But I do that later in my process. So for right now, I'm just using no noise. I'm getting rid of the noise. I'm happy with what I've got. And so now that we're there, I'm just gonna look at that. All right, now that we've done that, what would I do next? Now, because this is a nighttime picture, there are a couple of different things that I would do. Number one is, I intentionally tweak the color to go towards blue. It makes everything look a little more futuristic. Now, that's because this is a cityscape and it's very modern, you know. So what I would do is I'm gonna go over here to tone and color. I'm gonna scroll down to the color section here, and I'm gonna push the color temperature to the left towards blue. You can see what that's doing here. I don't want to go all the way to blue because then all the office building windows turn green. So you want to kind of stay, you want to keep them kind of yellow, but I really want to especially introduce blue into the sky, right? Because the sky was black, now it's a little bluish. I think we can do a little better with that. I think we can tweak that a bit. But we're starting to get into a pretty good spot here with the temperature amount, and if you want to raise the vibrance a little, you can too, if you really want to enhance, make the color more punchy. All right, now, this next thing is going to be surprising. You can control the brightness of the lights in the buildings using just one slider. The slider is called whites, but it really should be called brilliance. Now, not to be confused with AI brilliance, which is an automated feature that's built in here to give you a really good starting place. But this is, I think of it as, I need to add brilliance to my photo. I need to make the lights come on in the city. It's the white slider. So let's go up here, right here to whites. Now I'm in the tone and color section. Here's the whites. I'm gonna back off the image a little so you can see. Let me just kind of move this around here. And watch what happens when I raise the whites. Watch the buildings. You see that? It's like a dimmer switch for the lights. And so I think this will add a lot of brilliance to your image, just right there. Makes everything just pop, right? Something like, I'm gonna say right around there, so I increased it about 34, 35, somewhere in there, but that really does make it make a major, major difference. If I were to just kind of take it back to zero here, look at that. It looks kind of dingy now, doesn't it? Let's get it back up to where we were, about 35. All right, now I want to work on the sky. I just want to work on the sky, and I want to add a little more blue in there because it was kind of black when we started. Now it's kind of a deep navy blue. I kind of want a little bit more blue in there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up to the tab up here called Effects. We're going to click on it, and I'm going to hit Add Filter. And when you see these all pop up, you will see that it's going to apply my changes to everything that I did. It says apply to everything. If I choose black and white, it's all going to be black and white. If I choose color editor, it's going to apply it to everything in the photo. This apply to is basically masking. I only want to apply it to the sky, so it will automatically create a mask to where whatever I do over here will only apply to the sky. So let's go to Color Enhancer right over here. And I just want to target the blues. So I can hit sky, and then it automatically is choosing those blue colors. I can pop more blue in here. Now you can also see it's picked up a little blue over here as well. I can go there and make it look more like blue hour. I can control the vibrance of that color, so if I think it's too punchy, I can add a little magenta in there. I can do whatever I want separately, so I have a separate control. Now I am exaggerating. This is more blue than I would probably put in the image overall. But I want you to be able to see it very clearly. I know you may be watching this on a small device, maybe a phone or an iPad or something. I want you to be able to see the blues. This is a little punchier. And in fact, at the end, what I might do is just lower the entire vibrance on the whole thing so it looks a little, right now everything looks a little punchy. But you don't just have this, you have many, many other choices that you can choose. But obviously we want sky, and we've already got the sky selected, so that does make it easier for us. And you can see we've been able to add some more blue into the sky. Now, what else can we do to this? Let's step back and take a look. Like, one of the things that I ask myself when I'm doing editing is this: what do I wish were different? If I look at this image and I'm like, you know what, I'm not really crazy where it's going, or something's wrong with it, my question would be, what do I wish were different? Well, I'm always going to want it sharper. I usually add a little vignetting around the edges, but it's a nighttime picture, so I don't know if I need it here. I just want to look at the overall exposure at this point and see where we're at. That looks pretty good, but I probably will add one more filter that I would do, and it's everyone's favorite. Everybody wants to use this one because it adds that extra punch, and it's the dynamic contrast. Let's go in here and look at some of, there's grunge. Nope, that's too much. I mean, it's not terrible, it's just not my style. Natural, soft, surreal. I like to add surreal or texture enhancer and then pull back the opacity. So this is your amount slider, right? So 100% it's too much, 0 is none at all. I kind of want that little area in between, something right in there where everything looks really nice and crisp and happening right there. And we've come a long way since we first started on this image, and I'll show you it in a second. We can see a before and after, you can really see, but I think that was the last little finishing kiss that it needed at the end. If you want to add some sharpening, of course, you can go back to the develop, scroll down to noise and sharpening, and use Tack Sharp AI. So you could actually hit both, and it will both apply the noise reduction and the sharpening is really good. Just be careful, because the dynamic contrast adds mid-tone contrast, and it can tend to make the image look sharper than it does, right? It makes it look, I would say the word is snappy. It looks snappier. Make sure you don't apply too much of the noise of the sharpening afterwards. So you can go and lower that amount if you think it's gotten a little too crunchy. But anyway, let me go ahead and see if I can show you a before and after. Let me back it up a little, and wow, that before is pretty harsh. So you can see a before and after here. Wow. Yeah, that black sky was not happening. I'm not crazy about the blue I chose, but, and at the very end, of course, if you want to, you can just, come and desaturate the entire image, go back to tone and color, and then what you would do in tone and color is to just lower the saturation and drag it to the left. If you got a little carried away, like I did, you can just lower the saturation and you're all good. Well, there's a look at processing a very, very, very high. You're probably not going to be shooting at 25,000 ISO through glass, but just in case that you do, now you know what to do.